okay, so it's starting to build. Will's making a plan.
Yeah.
He's setting a date for when he's going to decide, which is kind of weird. So this was in December. This was the December before his 50th birthday.
Yeah.
So when did you talk about that? You made a decision to make a decision in a few days.
I suppose it does sound weird, doesn't it? You know, do you make a decision to make a decision?
Yeah, but you did that.
But I felt of it like a sort of like my own tribunal date. You know, I was going to put all the evidence together in my head for carrying on drinking or embracing sobriety for the rest of my life. And I thought, you know, this is my opportunity this December to build up a case for one or the other. And I kind of set a date for decision, not January the 1st, you know, which is such a sort of corny time, the beginning of a new resolution or whatever. And I also thought, I've got to be sensible, you know, give myself, don't do it on just before Christmas itself, 24th of December. You know, Christmas, I would always drink at Christmas, whatever the circumstances. So I thought, you know, I'm not going to put myself under that level of pressure to stop immediately before, you know, a 3-day period when I'd be guaranteed to be drinking. So, you know, whatever I do on those 3 days, that's fine. But I'm not going to make a decision for the rest of my life. It's going to affect the rest of my life just before that date. So I thought, well, you know, I'd make it in between. I think it was the 29th of December. Okay,
so there's a little bit of finessing of when you're going, of the date that you're going to decide whether you're going to decide. Yeah. So it wasn't it's like, I'm going to stop on this day. It's that that's the day when I'm going to really kind of decide or not. Yeah. And so that's quite interesting. So you thought, well, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to mess with Christmas Day, and I'm not going to do it Christmas New Year's Eve. So there's a little bit of negotiating within yourself about when you're really going to think about it. Yeah. So you gave yourself after Christmas, and then the day came when you thought, this is the day that I'm making a decision.
Yeah, and in that time up to that, and that was quite useful having Christmas still as a drinking period, because what I wanted to do was to, you know, analyse each drink I was having. And build a case in my head for why is this good, why is it not good. Yes. And there were a few occasions during that when I did have too much to drink, and I kind of, you know, did the usual same old, drink too much. But by and large, I did stick to my kind of plan to think about every and what it was about each glass that I was consuming that, you know, that I wanted to get from it. You know, what was the plan? Was there a plan? You know, and to think about it. And
so in therapy terms, so Will was doing a very interesting thing there, because he was, you know, people talk about mindfulness and meditation and stuff. So although he hadn't decided to stop drinking, he gave himself a period of time to say, okay, so here's a drink. I'm drinking. Okay, so what does it taste like? What am I expecting from it? What you know? So you kind of like an awareness of the thing of this thing, drink. So no huge decision, just
be aware of it.
Aware of drinking, and that's a sort of, you could say that was a mindfulness technique.
And it's something you know, as a drinker, you just never do. Yeah. You know, you never think to yourself, what is this drink? How many do I need to get to a certain point? You just do it, and then you think, I'll have another one. But for what reason? It's because the last one didn't hit the spot. It hasn't got you to where you wanted to be. Where did you want to be? No. What did you want from these drinks? And actually makes you realise that very often you don't really know where you want to, the state of mind you want to get to before you start. You don't recognise it when it happens or when it doesn't happen. Yeah. And therefore, you know, when it doesn't happen, which it doesn't, that is the green light to have another one, because it hasn't happened yet. Yeah. So it's obviously going to happen on the next one.
Messy.
It's messy. You lose sight of why you're doing it, but you've started anyway. So that's what you do when you have a few drinks. You have some more. Yeah.
So you saw through all that. So you were sort of being a rather clever analyst in a sense.
I suppose so. I wasn't. You know, none of this was worked out. I just thought, this is what I need to do. If I'm going to make my decision about where to go, I need to know the answer to these. I recognised that I needed the answer to these things.
You need to know what drinking was.
Yeah, why I was doing it, I suppose. Yes. You know, and not from the point of view of saying I'm definitely going to stop.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to carry on. I wanted to work out in my head what I was doing and whether it was worth continuing. And not, still in the back of my mind was this problem in the middle of January, my 50th birthday. I hired a pub, and
so that was what's coming up.
Committing myself to a dry January, and what was I going to do?
But I think on this particular video, I want to really get the point across that Will, without a therapist, without any particular inspiration or support or anything, or not inspiration from outside of himself, he gave himself a period of time where he really experienced his drinking in a different way by really the taste and okay, I'm starting to drink. What am I hoping from this drink? I'm tasting it. What does it taste like? It has I feel a certain way. What am I hoping now? Yeah. You kind of analysed the actual drinking process without making a big decision about whether it's bad or good or does he want to stop or whatever. Yeah. And that was, I think, a very useful period of awareness. And you might get, if you went to a therapist, the therapist might do that. Say, okay, well, let's really discover what drinking is. And that happens with smokers as well. Okay, so what does a cigarette actually? What are you hoping for? What's the experience of it? So you kind of led yourself through that experience, and to a certain extent saw through all the blurry, the sort of faulty logic, or the just mushy thinking about the expectation, everything about the drinking itself, the actual putting the alcohol, drinking it down.
Yeah, and then it was a question of what to do with this analysis, this material, this the conclusions that I'd come to in my head, and that was kind of the next phase, because I had to use all this to make a decision on the final day, my day of judgment.
Day of judgment.